So today is Sunday, the 12th of April 2020. We're on lockdown day number 20 in the UK. So as always, we're going to start with the number of cases worldwide and then the same for the UK, followed by the number of deaths worldwide and in the UK as well. So first off, the number of cases worldwide now are 1,696,588 cases. The number of deaths worldwide is 105,952. So the deaths has gone up by 5k in the last 24 hours. And the number of cases worldwide has gone up by around about 90,000 in the last 24 hours. So 90,000 is the new base, as we were talking previously, from like 60 to 70 to 80. It's now got to 90,000. Just looking at the number of countries that have been affected then. So we've got 213 countries or territories that have been affected. And then the number of cases in the UK is 78,995. And the number of deaths in the UK is 9,875. So obviously the numbers are creeping up very quickly now. Just in terms of your opinion, what do you think about the way it's just basically just lit up the entire world?
Well, I mean, for a good few days now, I've just been looking at the website on who, and it's just stuck at 213. So I reckon that is everything now. It's everywhere. On the bright side of it all, at least no other countries or territories can be infected now. So that statistic isn't going to go up.
Yeah,
and
exactly.
Then that's because it's reached its max.
Yeah, well, one thing that I'm looking at now is lockdown day number 10. So I'm literally looking 10 days ago to see, just to compare the figures and stuff. So the total number of cases worldwide 10 days ago was 827,419, and the total number of deaths worldwide was 40,777. Now, looking at the cases, they've doubled, in a sense. And the number of deaths is like almost tripled as well. Do you know what I mean? And that's just 10 days. So if we're looking at it that way, it has picked up, very quickly, and it's taken a lot of people by shock, I think, to be fair. What's your thoughts on the way that some of the presidents and prime ministers around the world, some of them didn't want to do a lockdown, they didn't want to opt for that. Do you know what I mean? Like we spoke about it before. I forget who it was, but one of the presidents didn't want to go into lockdown. He said, you know what, it'll go away with a few beers and saunas and stuff like that. Do you know what I mean? Remember we said that?
Oh yeah, I remember now.
The fella in charge of Belarus, he said, look, it'll go away with a few vodkas and a few dips in the sauna. Like, what are your thoughts on that now? Because obviously that country is affected now at this stage.
Well, has it gone away?
It hasn't gone away yet.
Well. Exactly. So now he can live with that mistake, and everybody else has to live with it as a result of his incompetence.
Yeah, exactly. And then it's just a case of everybody pointing a finger at him now because that was his decision that ultimately influenced the rest of the country. Looking at some positive news then, Boris Johnson has been discharged from hospital over the last 24-48 hours. Which is obviously a good thing for the UK. It's like a morale booster in a sense because we're all sat at home thinking, what's next? What are your thoughts on that?
Well, it's good that he's at hospital now because we'd have to watch Michael Gove deliver the speech.
Yeah, exactly. That's it.
No, but seriously though. That's why I smiled because I was just thinking of that kind of comment. But
right, then,
no, it's good though because at least that prominent people are still pulling through. It's not just going to drop everybody.
Yeah.
Because Boris isn't exactly the youngest prime minister.
Obviously, it's not that he couldn't be replaced. It's just it's a case of where I think people are just connecting themselves with him in terms of the human side now. Do you know what I mean? Like aside from, I think politics takes the back seat at this stage. I think it's just caring for other people really.
It's there's a lot of benefits to him of pulling through and stuff. It's going to make things a lot simpler. It's like having to choose someone else to be the prime minister temporarily until the next election and stuff like that.
Yeah.
It'd be loads of hassle. It'd be a lot of sort of effort that would be placed on that when it could have been placed on other things. So it's good that he's got through.
Yeah, exactly. Looking at the NHS then, so another story's broken recently for these guys. It's saying that it's impossible for the NHS to know when they have enough protective gear, readily available. So they don't know when they're going to have enough. The same thing with New York as well. Pretty much the same thing that their governor was saying. We don't have enough equipment, and then they're bringing all these complaints to light, right? But they're not taking the aid that they're being given by certain countries. Like, that just shocks me altogether, because if you're in a position, and we spoke about this previously, if you're in a position where you haven't got enough of something, and somebody's offering you it for free, why are you turning it down? Do you know what I mean? Just because it's Chinese. That just goes to show you that racism and nationalism is still very much a part of today's society.
Yeah, I mean, it's one of those things. It's like, well, if you don't want it, don't complain about not the shortage then. Yeah, there's no reason to complain.
And you were saying last time there's only 6 days of ventilators left. Well, like you said, there's only 6 days if it carries on at 60,000. But now it's got to 89, 90k in 24 hours. Like, how many have you got left now?
Has he even got any left? I mean, it's been like over a week since he said that, and he's gone quiet.
Yeah, exactly. Looking at something else then in the UK, which is, I'm not sure if you want to call it a conspiracy or whatever, but there's an expert, right? And I've had a look at it. He didn't name himself or he didn't say anything. He just written an article about it, and Sky News picked it up. So he's saying that the government's lying about the coronavirus numbers, so they're inflating the numbers, and it's not the first time I've heard it, but what are your thoughts on it?
Why would anyone lie about the numbers and inflate it at that?
In such a serious time? This is what I'm thinking as well. Like, I'm trying to think on both sides of the fence here, but it's harder. Do you know what I mean? Like, if they were inflating the numbers, right, it would be made to look as if it's worse than it actually is. But then you don't know because it's picked up quite fast as well, hasn't it?
Yeah, I mean, the only logic I can see behind making a decision like that would be to sort of, if you could, get yourself up a priority list, so that if when the cure gets rolled out, the highest on the priority list get it first. If that's how they're gonna do it, then I can see that's the only way I can see that making sense. Other than that, like, I can't think of an actual reason why you'd inflate the numbers.
I mean, it's one of those things where if you think about it like this, right? Like you just said, inflating the numbers obviously gets you the help first, but then it causes like a competition almost. And for example, let's say you're the leader of a country, and you say, well, I've got 200,000 cases and I've got 150,000 deaths, and I say, okay, well, I've got 210 and I've got this many. It's like everybody's competing with each other just to get the vaccine, and they're saying that the vaccine is going to be readily available within the next 3 to 6 months. Like, it's a massive breakthrough from 12 to 18 to now 3 to 6. So obviously things are working and things are moving. What I want to know is, do you think people are going to be volunteering like to go and get this vaccine? Like, if they've never come across the symptoms, will you go and get it?
I think there will. I think there'll be a lot of people that will go for it, and there'll be a lot of people that don't as well. Yeah. They'll probably think that, hang on, let's just wait and see. Let the other people who've gone first, who've taken the vaccine, see if it actually works. Because the last thing you want is to go out, get a vaccine that doesn't actually work. It worked in the lab, but it didn't work in outside the lab, and then it's like you've still got it. That's not what you want.
That's exactly. But what, like, for example, the reason why I normally stay away from vaccines and all that sort of stuff in school, I used to skip the flu vaccine day. I never used to go and stuff, but that's a different story. But the thing is, right, why I stopped doing it is because apparently it breaks down your system. Flu vaccine breaks down your system, and then it's factual. It breaks it down, then it rebuilds it. The problem with me is I don't like vaccines or anything like that anyway. Do you know what I mean? Like, if I was to get it, I'd wait, like you just said. I personally would wait to see what happens with the people that are getting it first, whether they can actually build some sort of resistance to the virus. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, because
if there's no resistance and it's not going to work, then what's the point getting it?
Well, it's supposed to be like a weaker version of the virus, so that your body can successfully fight it. And then because the antibodies know what it is now, if you actually get it, then they know how to deal with it. They're not just like spending ages figuring out, what's this foreign body, So like that, it's okay. But then, like we said, if it doesn't work, then
exactly.
you're kind of stuck. If it doesn't work on the masses,
then you're just kind of stuck with some extra fluid in your body.
Hey, what's up guys? If you like this video, make sure you hit that subscribe button as well as the bell icon to stay up to date for more amazing content. Fearless!